My name is Leslie White. I teach first grade at Smith Elementary, and I am showing you today data about Lexia and what you should be looking at. This is showing you your whole class. Once your whole class has taken the placement test, it's going to show you this data. So it will show you where they should start at after the placement, and then it's showing you after you've done it for a week. It will give you data showing you the usage, if they've met their usage goals. It's going to show you a predictor of how many will meet their goal by the end of the year, and that changes monthly. It shows you where kids started at the beginning of the year, how many's above grade level, below grade level, and then currently where your whole class is at. And then it breaks it individually, so you could tap on each child to see that. You can see that the arrows on each child shows their placement. That was the placement test, and then starting with the check marks is where they took off from the placement. So a kid could have tested through first grade, and then that was where they were placed, and then they're starting on from first grade. So then if you have children struggling, then you can hit just on the struggling data to see who's struggling and what skills they need help in. And it gives you the lessons that you can print out for them. And this is a very scripted lesson so that you can do it with the child, a parent volunteer, a classroom aide. It's very scripted so that anyone can provide that lesson with the child. Any other teacher in the building, an administrator could give this. And it just walks you through of how you can work with that specific skill. So I think this is teaching a child about idioms. So it will break it very specific on what they need help with if they're struggling. And these are also good lessons you could use with the whole class, because you could save this, you could send this home with the child for the parent to see, but then you can see exactly which students need help. So now we're back to the home page of the data, just showing you different pieces of data you could click on to see. Again, showing how many students are going to meet their end of the year benchmark of where they need to be at the end of the year. How many are at risk? So if they're struggling a lot or they're not completing it very well, then they're going to be at risk in red. If your whole class is on target, they're going to be green. So you can hit on each individual child to see their data. And in this you should look at daily, maybe even more than once daily, so you can see how each child's doing. You can see if a child is meeting their units. Units is more important than minutes, because you want children to be gaining many units. If they're on Lexia for 30 minutes or more and they've only gained 1 unit, that's not very good. That means they're struggling. They could be playing around, just hitting buttons. And so you need to monitor that child to make sure they're actually completing the activity. That's what this screen you should look at, and it will tell you. Again, each individual child, and it shows their growth of how they're doing, progressing through Lexia. It shows their minutes and units. You can even touch on each individual skill and see how many attempts they're making at those activities. So if a child is really struggling, they might have 40-some attempts at an activity. You know they're struggling. You can see real quick how they're doing. If you need to talk with that child about taking it seriously and making sure they're on task, that will tell you that.
Thank you for watching our Lexia series with Leslie White. This concludes this portion of the series, but if you're interested in learning more, please feel free to take a look in the description box below, where you'll be able to find the links to the other videos that we've made in regards to Lexia.